And during yesterday's impeachment proceedings, members of Congress on both sides of the aisle called on their colleagues to unite rather than fight, recalling leaders from our past. Let's listen.
We cannot turn back the clock, but we can look to the ideals and principles inherited from great presidents like Washington, like Jefferson, and yes, certainly like Abraham Lincoln and Franklin Roosevelt, and from outstanding Americans like Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, Susan Anthony, Cesar Chavez, Martin Luther King, Thurgood Marshall, our beloved John Lewis, and yes, RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who taught us a lot about equality and inclusion. It's up to us to restore the vibrancy, Madam Speaker, of our democracy by reaffirming our commitment to the norms they passed on to us and entrusted to our care.
I'm asking my colleagues to remember the words of the legendary, the great leader in this country, Dr. Martin Luther King, who once said, "The time is always right to do what is right."
And we're joined now by Dr. Bernice King, the daughter of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Dr. King, thank you so much for joining us today. You know, as we just heard, lawmakers quoted your father during yesterday's impeachment proceedings, and he spoke a lot about redeeming the soul of America. Now we have President-elect Joe Biden, who ran his campaign on fighting for the soul of the nation. So what do you think your father would say about this time in our country and what we need to do to heal?
Well, you know, I always hesitate to comment on what my father would say today. I always try to put it in the context of what he said, because if we had paid attention to what he said, I don't think we would be where we are today. One of the things he cautioned us about in 1967 in his book, Where Do We Go From Here, Chaos and Community, he said we must rapidly begin to shift from a thing-oriented society to a person-centered society. Everything in our society has to become more person-centered. It has to be focused on the upliftment and the dignity of people. And he talked about that in the context of having a revolution of values. Now is the time in this nation for us to not just recite Dr. King's words. We've got to begin the important work of learning the meaning of those words, embodying them throughout American life, and implementing them in everyday circumstances, including in policy and policy making.
And if I may, your family has done so much for this country, not just your dad, but your whole family. So I wonder, from that perspective, what went through your mind as that attack on our Capitol was happening?
You know, several things went through my mind. It's not where I ultimately landed. The first thing was, hey, you know, I'm a black person in America. The reality is that had been black people, it would have been a militaristic encounter. There would have been, you know, shooting and tear gas and beating and all other kind of stuff. The second thing that went through my mind is, you know, this country, unfortunately, has been birthed in violence. We have an affinity for violence. And when we sow seeds of violence, eventually the harvest of that happens. And so I thought about that. I thought about the fact that how do we set a different tone? How do we set a different tenor in this country? We can't just continue to cancel people and push people out to the fringes, dismiss them, but we do have to have consequences. And I started talking about impeaching. President Trump needed to be impeached because we should never have anyone, and certainly not the leader of this great nation that we have, but, you know, in spite of, you know, make America great again, I still think it's a great nation because of the democracy that we have and the promise and all the things that have gone into make us a very inclusive country. We can't allow someone who's at the head of the country to incite this kind of, any kind of violence and insurrection. And so there has to be consequences. But finally, where I landed is that My job in this legacy is to continue the urgent work of creating a beloved community. That's what we've been talking about through this King holiday observance that we're in right now in our summit that's going on as we speak. People can find out about what we're doing at thekingcenter.org. We're talking about creating this beloved community because we've got to learn, as my father said, how to live together as brothers and sisters with all our diversity of thought, belief, or together we're going to perish as fools. So there's a lot of work to do, and the 75+ million who voted for President Trump are still persons. They're still a part of our humanity, and we got to find a way to win people over, not necessarily to think exactly like us, but to find common pathways forward as a nation. I like to say it like my friend said this morning at our beloved community summit. She said, we have to learn how to stand our ground in our own principled belief, but we also have to find common ground. And we do that by first seeking to understand people so we can connect with people, because it's in that connection where change comes and transformation comes and a win-win pathway is discovered. That's what the beloved community is really about.
It's a beautiful message, and one as a country we seem to have lost lately. Congressman James Clyburn introduced a bill to make Lift Every Voice and Sing an official national hymn alongside the national anthem. Let's listen for just a moment. Says that this move would help the country heal. I learned this song in high school, but I didn't know its full meaning then. So explain the significance of this song and what you think it would mean to have it as an official national hymn.
You know, it speaks to the struggle to really make America a truly just, humane, equitable, and peaceful society. It reflects on the many struggles and the pains that people went through, but the hope that they all held on to. And so I think it's a very powerful song. I've always felt that we needed to change the national anthem. So I'm loving that this is happening, because I think the national anthem kind of highlights more of our might than our morality. You know, it highlights more of our militaristic side than it does our side of hope and democracy and compassion and justice and equity. And so, you know, I applaud those efforts.
Dr. Bernice King, it's a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for your time today, and thank you for your message.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.